Hello everyone, this is Cinema Recap here, and today we're going to be talking about a gothic horror film called Van Helsing. Watch out, spoilers ahead. In a mysterious castle, a mad scientist created the monster Frankenstein under the order of Dracula, lord of all vampires. But Dracula betrays him with the help of his own servant and bites down on his neck, ending his life. This angers the monster, who attacks Dracula and throws him into the fire. He carries his dead father, trying to escape the angry mobs, but ends up falling into the flame. Dracula arrives with his brides, only to find the aftermath of the carnage. They lament in the realization that their plans have failed. 1 year later, a monster hunter known as Van Helsing tracks down the culprit of murders, who apparently leaves a large cigar behind. He follows the tracks to an abandoned warehouse, where a large human being appears. He is no other than Dr. Jekyll, a monster with two personalities. Helsing wants to capture Jekyll alive, but the monster does not make it easy for him to do so. The giant, with his tremendous strength, gets an upper hand against the monster hunter. But the tides soon reverse when Helsing catches him off guard by tricking him and chopping his arm off. The bruised strength of Jekyll proved to be inferior to the experience and cunning of the monster hunter, and soon he's thrown off the building and falls to his death. Helsing goes back to his organization, known as Knights of the Holy Order, a secret society that fights evil since the beginning of mankind. The Pope assigns him another mission, this time against the Lord of Vampires, Dracula. Helsing must help the last descendants of a Transylvanian knight defeat Dracula, as their ancestors have promised that their descendants would not go to heaven if Dracula is not vanquished. Only Vulcan and his sister, Anna, are left alive from the bloodline, while their father has disappeared a year ago. The Pope also gives Helsing a piece of map, and coincidentally, its insignia is the same as Helsing's ring. Helsing goes to pack up his equipment with Carl, who invents a bunch of stuff, but has trouble finding its applications. One of those things is a bomb that creates bright light, which I'm sure they'll use to kill some vampires in the future. Helsing tells Carl to accompany him in slaying Dracula, which the poor man refuses at first, but has no choice as it was an order from the Pope. Meanwhile, Vulcan is tied up on a post, acting as a bait to capture and kill a werewolf controlled by Dracula. Their plans don't really work out when the traps they laid for the monster refuses to work. After much effort, they finally stop the beast by caging it temporarily. But Vulcan drops his gun with a silver bullet, the only thing that can kill a werewolf. Their man fires blindly at the monster, but Anna tells them to find her brother's gun, which no one seems to listen. She sees the gun and runs towards it, but the werewolf manages to break the ropes to his cage and tumbles down right on top of the girl. The monster breaks free and chases after Anna while she runs towards a cliff. The werewolf leaps towards her, but Vulcan pushes her away and fires his gun at the monster while knocking both into the lake. Anna looks for his brother, but it's unlikely that he has survived. After a long journey through land and sea, Helsing arrives at Transylvania with Carl and sees that the people there are not very fond of their presence. The people surrounds them with knives and pitchforks, and just when the fight is about to break loose, Anna arrives and stands before them. Helsing tries to offer his help to Anna in her vampire problems. She refuses and proceeds to tell her man to kill them. Before she can finish her sentence, the brides of Dracula attacks the town in the middle of daytime. Helsing fires a barrage of arrows at the vampires, but seems to have no effects. Carl tells Helsing to aim for their hearts, but that's easier said than done when the vampires are flying around so quickly. They get a lucky break when the sun moves out of the clouds, and the vampires are forced to hide. But as soon as the clouds move back, the vampires charge towards Anna, lifting her into the air. Helsing saves her and impales one of the vampires with an arrow, and Anna runs to hide in the warehouse. But she gets herself in more trouble as the vampire surrounds her in a closed area with nowhere to run. Carl tells Helsing to use the holy water against the vampires, and he rushes towards the church's fountain. He dips his arrow in the water and fires it at one of the brides of Dracula. She gets impaled on the rooftop, and her body slowly melts under the effects of holy water. Just when Anna is about to be sucked dry of her blood, the vampire feels the death of their sister and runs away to their castle. Dracula doesn't seem to be affected by her death, unlike her sisters. After living so long, he feels no fear, no love, nor joy, and he will live like this forever. Dr. Frankenstein's servant, now serving Dracula, tortures the werewolf behind the curtains. Dracula has found another beast in which he can command to his will. They teleport to Frankenstein's castle as they continue their diabolical plans. At night, Anna wakes up to some disturbances and finds something lurking in the shadows. She moves slowly in her high heels, trying to anticipate the attack at any moment. She looks up and sees a werewolf lunging at her. She fires her gun and runs in fear. The moon is momentarily blocked by the clouds, and the werewolf turns out to be his brother, Velkin. He tries to tell her about Dracula's secret plan, but loses control as the moon reappears again. Helsing arrives and fires at the werewolf, which manages to make it retreat from the windows. He chases after it, trying to end its life, but Anna stops him, trying to protect her brother. Although she knows that her brother is a monster now, she wants to save him, as he is the only family she has left. She also heard rumors that Dracula has an antidote for the werewolves, so there is a chance of saving her brother. Her words move Helsing, and he promises to look for her brother together. They follow the werewolf's tracks and finds the Frankenstein castle. The two proceeds inside and discovers numerous egg sacs harboring the offspring of Dracula. They are all dead, of course, as a vampire cannot give birth to life. Dracula plans to rectify this by using Dr. Frankenstein's machines, coupled with Velkin as a conduit to give life to all his children. As the electric current runs through hundreds of egg sacs, numerous vampire hatchlings burst out and wreaks terror on the town nearby. Helsing comes face to face with Dracula and tries to kill him in numerous ways, but none of them seems to work. Dracula hints that they have a long history together and calls him Gabriel. He offers Helsing his memories back, to which the main character rightly refuses. Anna manages to find her brother and unstraps him from the experiment, but he tells her to leave as he turns into a werewolf uncontrollably. With Velkin gone as the conduit, the hatchlings begin to explode one by one, failing Dracula's experiment. Helsing finds Anna, and they both escape towards the forest, while Velkin chases behind but drops into the water as the wire snaps. Dracula is furious that his plan failed again and orders his henchmen to kill Helsing and Anna on sight. Troubled by the fact that Dracula seems to be unkillable, Helsing and Anna ventures into a burned-down building and falls into an underground cave. Here they find Dr. Frankenstein's creation alive and well. He tells them to kill him as he's the key to his creator's machine, and Dracula will use him to give life to his hatchlings. Helsing refuses to kill Frankenstein as he senses no evil in the creature, but their whereabouts were tracked by Velkin, and they must run now that Dracula knows Frankenstein's alive. They're attacked en route by the brides of Dracula, and one of them manages to separate the carriage from the horse as it tumbles down the mountain. She opens the doors but finds nothing inside except for a trap laid with spikes which explodes and kills her by impaling her heart. It turns out that Anna prepared a second carriage, and Helsing reunites with them on the horses. Their victory is short-lived though, as Velkin attacks them as well, which lights the entire carriage on fire. Helsing has no choice but to shoot the werewolf with the silver bullets, killing him in the process. Anna finds her dying brother and laments as her last family member leaves her in this world. She blames Helsing for his death, but finds that he's been infected by the werewolf. She backs off in fear but gets knocked unconscious by the last bride of the Bride of Dracula. Later that day, Dracula's bride finds the group and tells Helsing that Dracula wants Frankenstein and is willing to trade Anna for him. She tells them to make a trade in the festival which Dracula is hosting soon. Helsing considers her offer and shoots Frankenstein with a sleeping dart. He hides the monster in the cemetery and heads towards the festival. Anna is controlled by Dracula's mind and forced to dance with him. He tells her that since her boyfriend has killed most of his wives, he will need a new bride. Right before he's about to bite down on her neck, Carl manages to distract him, and Helsing rescues her away. But Dracula's henchmen manage to find the location of Frankenstein and has captured him already. Dracula commands all the vampires in the festival to attack them, and they're forced to run and jump off a window. Carl manages to use the bomb he invented and destroys all the vampires in the building. Helsing swears to rescue Frankenstein as he's taken in the distance. They go back to Frankenstein's castle to look for clues about Dracula's whereabouts. Carl reveals that Dracula came from the same ancestor as Anna, but he made a deal with the devil to gain eternal life. His father wanted to atone for his sins, so he made a promise with God to slay his son before any of his families can enter heaven. He didn't have the conviction to follow through though, so he banished Dracula to a frozen castle with a one-way door. But the devil gave him wings, and he was able to return again. Helsing realizes that the map on the wall may be the door to Dracula's castle, as it's missing a piece which he received from the Pope. They complete the map and chant the words on the missing piece, turning the map into a doorway, which they then proceed to enter. Helsing doesn't have much time before turning into a werewolf as the infection spreads. But it also gives him incredible strength, which helps them to enter the castle of Dracula. They find Dracula's servant and interrogates him about where the antidote is for curing the werewolf. They also find out that the reason Dracula has a cure is because a werewolf is the only thing that can kill him. The servant promises to lead Carl and Anna to the antidote, while Helsing goes after Dracula to try to stop his experiment. Of course, they share a passionate kiss before they go their own separate ways. Anna and Carl arrives at where the antidote is, but gets tricked by the servant who locks them inside. Dracula's bride shows up to attack them, but Carl manages to escape after using the acid from the antidote to melt the door. Anna tries to defend herself, but the vampire is too strong and proceeds to toy with her like a cat playing with its prey. Meanwhile, Dracula straps Frankenstein onto the machine and raises him into the thunderstorm. Helsing finds him and tries to get him off the machine, but a lightning strikes and conducts the electricity to all of Dracula's children, reviving them in the process. Dracula transforms and attacks Helsing, knocking him off the building. A second lightning strike hits Frankenstein and sends him flying off the roof. He grabs onto the wires, and in the process of saving himself, he knocks Dracula's servant into oblivion. While hanging by a wire, Frankenstein begs Carl to help him. Carl hesitates, but decides to help him by throwing him into a window, which knocks Dracula's bride away from Anna as he enters. Frankenstein holds off the vampire, giving Anna a chance to escape through the window, and she catches the antidote from Carl. She doesn't make it far though, as the bride of Dracula attacks her, knocking her over. The vampire proceeds to taunt and toy with her, which gives Anna the chance to drive a stake through her heart, showing that one really shouldn't play with their food. Dracula appears behind Helsing and tells him it's too late to stop his plan, as his children have all been granted life. The only way to destroy them all is to kill Dracula himself. The clock strikes 12 midnight, and Helsing transforms into a werewolf, which frightens Dracula as it's the only thing that can kill him. However, the vampire is not going down without a fight, as he transforms into his true form as well. The two monsters fight furiously, but it's clear that Helsing has the upper hand. He grabs Dracula by the neck, and just when he's about to deal the finishing blow, the moon disappears behind the clouds, and he transforms back. Feeling that the danger is over, Dracula explains how it was Helsing who killed him many years ago, which prompted him to make deal with the devil. He also wants his ring back, which Helsing wears on his finger. This explains why its insignia is the same as on the map to Dracula's castle. But the vampire's habit of playing with their prey gives Helsing another chance to transform as the clouds clear. He lunges towards Dracula's neck and kills the monster once and for all. All the hatchlings also die as their father melts away. Anna sees Helsing in the beast form and tries to give Helsing the antidote, but is attacked furiously as he's lost all senses of self-awareness. Carl tries to stab Helsing with a spike but fails as well. While distracted, Anna manages to inject Helsing with the antidote, but she succumbs to her wounds. Helsing cries in agony as he holds her in his arms. Helsing gives Anna a proper burial in the flames as Frankenstein sails away to a place where he can live in peace. He turns around and sees that Anna and Velkin are finally allowed into heaven. So what do you guys think about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my videos, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.